All right, so today I have a pretty major piece. This is a Roger Dubuis skeleton tourbillon in the Easy Diver case. And this is one of the new skeleton pieces from them. Recently they're really on top of their game. They've reinvented their whole brand. They were purchased by Richemont. They're basically made, work very closely with Cartier and all those other Richemont brands, Lange, to work at the same quality, and they've really made some amazing pieces. So here you can check it out. You can already start by seeing 118 grand there. That was the original retail price of this. It then went up and I think ended somewhere around 130 before they all sold out. Then there were more price hikes after that, so it would have been closer to 140 or something. You can see the box is huge. You've got this Roger Dubuis logos and this very nice like kind of microfiber cloth that goes around the whole box. I'll just show you quickly. Man, it's heavy. Underneath, I have an extra strap here, and here's where all your papers and stuff are. But let's take a look at the watch. So there you go. You open it up, and here you have your skeleton tourbillon. So first, the clasp is pretty cool. It's this, I don't know if you can see these buttons here. So you press the button and that undoes the clasp. And it's this kind of, I'll move this out of the way, really sort of neat titanium clasp that feels really good. And this strap is a rubber strap that I don't know if you can see, kind of cool patterns on the inside of it, and then the pattern runs down here. They make straps in all sorts of different materials, but this is technically a diver's watch, so it's cool to have the rubber strap on it. You don't find a lot of tourbillons on rubber straps. The one thing that's a little bit annoying about this strap is that it has to be cut to size, which is cool because you don't have the excess that hangs off. It just fits perfectly. And it does give you that 3-hole adjustment there. So this could get a little bit bigger as somebody wanted. But it is a little bit of a pain because if your wrist really changes in size, or if you sell the watch to somebody who has a much bigger wrist or something, then you have to buy a new strap. But it does give that cool effect of having a strap that perfectly fits. So anyway, let's get into the watch. Here you have it. You can see when they say skeleton, they're not kidding. This is a super airy movement. You can definitely, see my whole house behind it. And the case is actually pretty intricate. It's got these sort of carbon fiber inserts. This case is titanium. They make it also in rose gold. But it's got this carbon inserts here. The crown has this sort of rubberized, I guess it's some sort of high impact rubber on there. It's a huge crown and it feels really good. And you can see the bezel also has this rubber underneath it and these rubberized inserts. So it's pretty sporty and kind of cool, and a really cool use of, as Jean-Claude Biver says, fusion. It's this fusion of rubber and carbon fiber and titanium all through the watch. So if you look at the watch itself, you've got these bridges that actually look like they're made of carbon fiber, but they're not. It's really cool what they've done. They're just ruthenium coated metal, I assume maybe brass bridges, and then they've used this really, really perfectly applied perlage finish that's so evenly spaced that it actually looks like carbon fiber, but you get a much higher finish quality than you would get from like a carbon fiber because it's actually perfectly finished metal. And you have also on the tourbillon carriage itself basically a black polish, very, very high-end polish. And there's a little bit of luminous material on the hands, so you can read it at night. And then if you're paying close attention, you can see that the minute markers here, the 5-minute markers and the hour markers, are actually rubies, which is really cool because it definitely doesn't come across as like a jeweled watch or like bling or anything like that. But it's a really cool way of very sort of luxuriously marking the hours without it being too ostentatious. So let's give it a wind and start it up here. All right, so it has a screw down crown. It is a diver's watch. So that was me screwing out the crown, and now it's in a winding position. What's cool is you can see up there is your mainspring, which is what actually stores the energy to run the watch. And you can see it as you wind it getting tighter and tighter. So it's kind of like having a power reserve marker. You know that when you see it really tight that it's wound up, and when it's totally loose and you can see through it, obviously it's not. So there, it's pretty well wound, and you can see we've got a 1-minute flying tourbillon. So you may have heard the word a flying tourbillon before. That basically means a tourbillon which is anchored in the back here and doesn't have a bridge anchoring it on the top. So from the top, it just looks like it's floating or flying. So this is a flying tourbillon. It does have a hand coming down there to mark the seconds. It's a 1-minute tourbillon, so it goes around once a minute, which means that it marks the seconds perfectly. So that's your second hand. And otherwise, it's actually quite a simple watch. It's just a time-only tourbillon. And you've got these really big hands. It's actually really easy to tell the time on this watch, which is good because a lot of skeleton watches, it's very difficult to tell the time. There's like a lot going on and the hands can get lost. But because this is so big and the hands are really big, you can pick them out really easily. The view from the back is pretty sweet. Again, obviously you can see through everything, and you have this rubber inlay in the titanium. And you can see it's water resistant to 300 meters, which is pretty amazing for a tourbillon. This is one that you really don't have to worry about swimming with, or you can do anything you want with it, basically. I'm not exactly sure who would go diving to 300 meters with it, but at the very least, you can sort of use it in normal life and not worry about it. Again, you have these sort of ruby bearings that are really nice, and you've got this very, very, very high-end perlage finish on all of these bridges. It's pretty spectacular. This watch, the closest thing to it really that I can see are the very high-end Richard Mille tourbillons, and they're like 600 grand, 700 grand, super, super, super expensive. So to me, this represents incredible value for money in the industry. As much as a watch this expensive could actually be value for money. Obviously, they're all sort of silly in their own right, but as long as you're into these things, you definitely can't touch any watch that really compares to this anywhere in this price range. So it's a pretty cool watch. And again, Roger Dubuis is owned by Richemont. They make all their own movements. They are really specializing in this form of skeletonization where they're building these skeleton watches from scratch. And it's just a really cool piece. The one thing is it's definitely kind of big. I find it a little bit big for me, so I don't wear it that much, but you can see here, that's it on my wrist. I have a really skinny wrist, about 6 3/4. So because the lugs curve down and because it's got a rubber strap, it doesn't fit too bad, but it's definitely not a small watch. So that's the Roger Dubuis Easy Diver Tourbillon, Skeleton Tourbillon. They call it the Tourbillon, which is actually kind of funny. And it's just a really cool watch. It's very unique. And when you start looking at the same kind of money that people are paying for like Royal Oak offshores and things like that. This is really, really a killer piece. So there you go.